48% of all SNAP participants are children. 79% of SNAP benefits go to households with children, and 58% of these households are headed by single-family homes, which means it's just one parent, either a mother or a father, but typically just a single parent home.
Good evening, this is Andre Bohannon, your host, and again I want to welcome you to Captions, where we talk about the what, the when, and the why of things going on in our community. And tonight we're going to share with you some of the highlights of a very important meeting that was recently held to talk about hunger in our area. It was held by the Illinois Commission to End Hunger, and we will be hearing from many of the people who are participating in our battle against hunger. Please stay tuned. I think you will enjoy some of the remarks and questions that were asked at that very important meeting.
I've retired from University of Illinois Extension after almost 40 years working with the Expanded Food and Nutrition Education Program and the Family Nutrition Program, which is now called SNAP Ed, through the University of Illinois, but have been involved in hunger issues since day one with Extension. I was a founding member of the Peoria Area Anti-Hunger Coalition, and that's kind of who I'm representing today. But I'm going to bring in all the different programs here in Peoria and try to share a little bit how we work together to meet the needs of people in our area, because just not one program can do it all. A little bit about statistics, the scope of hunger in our community. When we look at Peoria schools, there's only 2 schools in our district that do not have 50% or more of the children that qualify for free and reduced price lunches. A number of our schools, 99% of the children qualify for free and reduced price lunches. So we know that childhood hunger is an issue within the Peoria school system. Through the Anti-Hunger Coalition, we collect data from our 30 pantries that give out food on a regular basis, and they submit figures on how many households they've served each month and how many individual people they serve each month. And that's where we keep our data to kind of identify. But this is just the pantries that belong to the Anti-Hunger Coalition. It does not cover every food pantry in our area. Just as Barb said earlier, not every food pantry belongs to the Peoria Area Food Bank. Our recent figures are showing that we're serving around 25,000 people a month in our food pantries. And I don't have figures for the summer, but I'm sure our figures for the summer are much higher because children are home. And so mom's got to feed breakfast and lunch to children that normally got it at school. And we had 2 disastrous things that happened in our community this year that really affected that. One, our school normally does a summer food service program at the Title I summer schools. Peoria schools did not do Title I summer schools this year. They did offer a summer feeding program at Sterling School, which is way on the west side of Peoria. It's not close to our poorest of neighborhoods, and at Manual High School. Unfortunately, both of them were very poorly attended. Whereas when we had summer school at neighborhood schools in the low-income areas, children were able to get breakfast and lunch there. The other one is through the U of I Extension. We used to be a summer food service program sponsor, where we were doing lunches for around 500 children a day to a number of the agencies. One was Neighborhood Ministries here. Then we were doing around 800 snacks daily, plus snacks to all our weekly summer sites, garden programs, and chef school. And due to the reorganization, the budget cuts, the layoff of staff, U of I Extension was not able to be a summer food service program sponsor this past summer. So that was a huge void in the inner city community with our youth. A little bit about the summer food service program. One of the things we want to work toward for next year is to get information to our agencies so that they can become a summer food service sponsor, which means we've got to get them to the workshop in March, because you have to go to a workshop in order to submit an application and hopefully work with them. One of the barriers to summer food service program is there's a lot of paperwork to it, just a lot of paperwork. So on the USDA level, if they could simplify that, that would be wonderful. It would really help. As far as programs, the Peoria Area Anti-Hunger Coalition was formed in the early 1980s when the bottom of the economy fell out in Peoria. CAT had a huge strike. Then they had huge layoffs. Strikers are not eligible for food stamps. At that time, we had 2 major pantries in Peoria, Salvation Army and Southside Mission. And the increase in volume of people seeking emergency food was just far more than they could handle. So out of that, a group of individuals interested in providing food to the hungry met formed the Peoria Area Anti-Hunger Coalition, and we're still in existence today. We were one of the groups that were instrumental in getting the Peoria Area Food Bank to Peoria. We also at one time had a community garden program where we were teaching gardening to families, also providing fresh produce to families through the gardens. That program is no longer funded, but fortunately we still have the food bank, and they now have a much nicer warehouse than when we first started. They were in absolutely a dungeon on Southwest Adams, and now have a very nice warehouse down on McBean Street. We did have a share food program. Are any of you familiar with share food? Okay, nobody is. Okay, well, we did have a program here. Unfortunately, it folded this year, so we no longer have that. But we do have some other programs that service families. I'll mention Heart of Illinois Harvest. I have some pamphlets from that. This is a program that started in, I think, the early 90s, 92. A program started by Stan Curtis in Louisville, Kentucky, with a group of retired Rotary members. They saw a need in their community to collect food that was being thrown away and to take it to food pantries, and that's exactly what they do. They have their truck and they go around to supermarkets, to places that serve meals. Like when you have a banquet or a dinner, not everybody shows up, so you have food left over. So they will collect prepared food, and then they deliver it within a couple hours to a soup kitchen or to a food pantry. So it's been a very, very instrumental program in helping provide food to our pantries. They do about 6 tons of food per week to have 36 donors and about 70 volunteers. And these guys used to show up at our office to bring us bread to make sandwiches with. These guys have a ball. They have so much fun driving that truck around, picking up that food and delivering it, and it's just a tremendous service to our community. We have another food bank in Peoria, and I think Barb mentioned that. It's called Midwest Food Bank. I brought a brochure about it to pass out to you. It's fairly new in our community. It was actually started in 2003 from a farmer in Bloomington in McLean County that just had a heart for serving hungry families and started giving out food in a garage out at his farm. It grew to the point he couldn't serve in the garage, so he moved to a machine shed and then eventually moved to a warehouse in Bloomington. We now have a satellite warehouse in Peoria, the Peoria area, the Midwest Food Bank Peoria division. There's a division in Indianapolis, and they've just purchased a building and will be starting a Midwest Food Bank affiliate in Atlanta, Georgia. This is totally non-governmental, has nothing to do with any government agencies. It's private. We have a warehouse here in Peoria. We do load out. Actually, this week is load out, and the food you saw coming in on that conveyor belt was food they were getting from Midwest Food Bank. We have 180 agencies that come to the Peoria Food Bank each month and get about 2,000 pounds of food each. The food is provided to them free. It's all donated to us, and we give it out. And we even have volunteers there that load the food, so they don't have to send anyone to load the food. One of the things we do, a lot of the food we get at Midwest Food Bank comes in great big vats like you get watermelons in. It's bulk, it has to be repackaged, or it's in 50-pound bags. Like this month we have 50-pound bags of carrot cake mix. So it's a variety of things. One of the things I started when I worked with U of I Extension, continuing to do that, is to help develop recipes to use the food products. So I'll pass these around. This month we're giving out black bean pieces. This is a sample of it. This is a recipe sheet that we give out to the people. I actually make a food sample and serve it at loadout time so the volunteers can see the food, they can taste the food, then they're a lot more likely to take it back and the people at their pantry will use it. A project that was started as a result of the kind of food that we were given. is the Tender Mercies, and I gave everybody a package if you would like to have one. We were getting 50-pound bags of rice, dried beans, and textured vegetable protein donated, but we were giving out individually. Our director said, wouldn't it be great if we could have a meal with that package? And so it would come with a meal. And out of that, with connections we made with Archer Daniel Midland, the Illinois Soybean Association, a seasoning company in Minneapolis, we came up with this product called Tender Mercies, which is a meal in a bag. We'll make 5 servings, a complete nutritionally balanced meal, made with those basic ingredients that we had been giving them out individually. And we're giving this out to food pantries that come to Midwest Food Bank. A new project, they're just in the process of getting installed, is automation equipment so that we can package this a lot faster. Right now it's packaged by individual volunteers. So once we get the automation equipment in place, we'll be able to package it a lot faster, can do some international relief with it, as well as offer it to other states too. And the little pamphlet here tells a little bit about Tender Mercies. 2 programs that do education in our community are the Expanded Food and Nutrition Education Program. This is a USDA federally funded program for families with limited resources. It's managed through the University of Illinois Extension Service, and here's a couple of pamphlets that tell about that. Our sites are not up to date because we just went through a major reorganization July 1, and Margaret and I aren't sure. And I'd like to introduce Margaret Cover. She now is the nutrition and wellness educator that does the expanded nutrition program. The pamphlet I have for the SNAP Ed program is out of date because it's called FNP. It used to be called the Family Nutrition Program. But it is a program that provides education to families that are on food stamps or that are eligible for food stamps. And the counties on there are not up to date because we're not sure who's in and who's out as of July 1 on that. A little bit about how we work to provide food. One of the major projects of the Peoria Area Anti-Hunger Coalition is a major canned food drive, which we do in March of each year, that's called the Food Share Can-a-thon. We'd kind of been stuck at about 80,000 pounds of food, and this year we finally reached that goal of 100,000 pounds of food, and I think it was because we had more churches involved with us that sponsored a Can-a-thon Sunday at their church in collection of food. But that is a huge boost to our pantries. It will provide our pantries with canned goods for 3 to 4 months as a result of that. And members of the coalition, they have to work, provide volunteers to go door to door to collect food, but they also benefit from the food that's donated. We were able to add some new businesses as sponsors of that. Curves has a national program called Curves for Food, and they now are co-sponsor. They bring in about 25,000 pounds of food as a part of that. This year we added Subway, all the Subway restaurants in, this is Greater Central Illinois, which includes Bloomington Normal. A real boost to the food at our Peoria Food Bank and Midwest Food Bank has been food that we've been able to reclaim from Kroger's and from Sam's and Walmart. We actually started this here in this area with Kroger's. When meat is marked down and not sold, previously it was put in the dumpster, it was thrown away. And so now that meat is stuck in a banana box and put in the freezer, and either Peoria Food Bank or volunteers from Midwest Food Bank pick that meat up. At Midwest Food Bank, it means that each of our 180 pantries are eligible to get 2 banana boxes, which is about 80 pounds of meat each month. Meat is a real premium item at our food pantries. We don't get much meat, so that's been a tremendous boost to us. Another boost to the Midwest Food Bank is we have a freezer that will hold 15 semis of frozen food. So that allows us to accept refrigerated and frozen food that we were not able to do previously because we didn't have the refrigerator and freezer space to do that. Looking at what additional ideas we have for continuing the program, I think collaboration, communication with one another. For example, if Harvest has too much food and they can't deliver it all in a day, they bring it out to Midwest and put it in their refrigerator. So we don't need to have turf issues and say this is my program and this is what I do. And that's not what we have here in Peoria. We work together. Each of us have our own mission, but we work together so that we can salvage the food and provide the most to the families. One concern I do have is, as we're looking at the reduction in federal budgets, one program that has not been cut has been the entitlement programs, and I was glad to talk to Julie a while ago. She said maybe they won't. I would hope that our entitlement programs, and those entitlement programs are food stamps, school breakfast, school lunch, summer food service program, that those would not be cut, because those are programs that serve the neediest of the needy. So if that comes along, we all need to make a voice in that, because that would just be devastating to them. We're always on the lookout for new resources, and I think that takes everyone in the community looking to see where is food wasted, where can it be reclaimed, where can we rechannel it to families that need it. And I did give each of you a package of the Tender Mercies. If you'd like to take it home and try it, you're welcome to do so. If not, you can just leave it on the table.
Thank you, Marjorie.
No, I'm not like Marge. I don't have all of these. I'm on the front lines. I'm the one that's down on the dirt working with the kids, trying to find the resources that we need to feed the kids in the area. As she alluded, the 3 schools that we serve here in this church all are either the 99 or the 100% receive free or reduced lunch. So there's a need for summer food, and when the school didn't offer summer feeding or summer school, we needed to step it up, and we need to provide that hot meal for the kids in this area. And that's what we attempted to do. I'm sorry. We're trying not only just to serve them lunch, but to provide them with a nutritional meal. And we've been able to do that with the folks that we have worked with this summer, the food bank, and they've donated so much food to us, which has been it's been great. There's a lot of church people that you've seen in the kitchen that were helping serve the food, and not only are they down here cooking the food and helping serve it to the kids and cleaning up after them, but they're also putting stuff in there that came out of their pocket, because not everything can come from the food bank. So I would count that as one of those barriers. I wish that there was funds available to help pay for things like paper products and some of those seasonings to go in the food to help it, taste like home. Fresh produce, that's a big thing that we wish that we could give them more variety. Corn and green beans are wonderful, but they need more than corn and green beans and mashed potatoes. We need to be able to give them a balanced meal and introduce them to some of those things that they may not get introduced to at home. Many kids tell me, let me back up a little. We do not only summer program, but we do an after-school program here also. So in the after-school time, we're trying to give those kids a part of the components of a dinner, because many times they come and the first thing out of their mouth is when is snack or when is lunch, and then when you talk about, well, what are you going to have tonight for dinner? Well, I'll have to fend for myself. I'll have to go home and cook some noodles, and it just floors me. And so we try really hard to give them some of those other components. We try to offer them fruits and vegetables that maybe mom and dad are not providing at home. The link maybe doesn't go as far as it should. One of the other barriers for us is a small group. I mean, we're about 50 kids that we're feeding, but to qualify for the state and federal funds that was talked about, there's a lot of paperwork for a small group of us to do, and to fund it for the whole 8 weeks up front is really hard. It would be very hard for us because it's a reimbursement process. So coming up with that, is quite expensive and would take away from the rest of the program that we're doing. Some other things I would love to do here is to provide breakfast during the summer, because the kids come in wanting to know where lunch is already the minute they walk through the door. And more of that fresh produce. I guess I'm going back to that. I'm sorry. I think something that we do here in Peoria really well is network, and we're able to connect with those folks who do have the extras, and everybody is willing to share. But there's always more. You know, there's got to be other businesses and corporations that are out there that want to help or are willing to help, and we need to try to figure that out. Figure out who those people are. I don't know. Does anybody have any questions of me? I don't know what else to say to you.
Michelle, that's great. Thank you so much. You know, they not only feed the kids. Tell them about your going after them.
Okay. In our summer programs, we provide transportation, so we go every morning and pick up all the kids, bring them here. We have programming. We connect with other agencies in the area to provide a holistic program for them, along with that nutritional meal, and then we provide transportation home so that all of our kids arrive safe and get home safe, and try to have a little fun in the meantime. So we also do that in after-school programs. We pick them up at school, and then we bring them back here and help them with homework, and offer things like 4-H, and Red Cross comes and does things, and the Center for Prevention of Abuse come and do programs with our kids, and then we get them home safe so that, you know, everybody's having a fun, safe place to be, either after school or during the summer.
We're here with our good friend Melinda Duncan, who is the coordinator for our foster grandparents program, to tell us about a special project coming up that involves the 10th anniversary of 9/11. Melinda, tell us about it.
Okay, it is for 9/11, a day of service and remembrance, and we are affiliated with the Corporation for Community and National Service. And of course in Peoria, our sponsor is Community Action. What we're asking the community and our friends and our partners to do is write a very short letter to our troops and tell them how much we appreciate them, and especially after the horrendous thing that was done to our country. And we think this is just a really good time to do it. If you're an individual, you can drop the letters off at 711 West McBean, which is our Community Action offices. If you're a business or another corporation, you can actually call us at 309-671-3950, and we will pick those up the 14th, the 15th, and the 16th of September. In turn, they will go to our Florida office for ourtroops.com, and they will actually mail them where they need to go: Afghanistan, Iraq, whatever.
Now, if somebody is not exactly sure what to say in a letter, is there a website that has sample letters that they can look at and use those?
There most certainly is. It's ourtroops.com. If you click on community, and then it's a drop-down menu, and you can see letters to our troops. And there's like 6 pages. And believe me, there's plenty of information. And it's an awesome website, so everybody should go to it just because.
This special 9/11 project sounds like a great opportunity that the entire family can take part in.
Absolutely. It'd be a great opportunity for maybe the children to help write some letters to the troops and do a picture or a drawing. And it'd also be an awesome, awesome opportunity for Peoria, Illinois to shine.